So I had to take a $5,000 cash advance, all the money I had from a credit card, and I bought my first house. I painted it. And within a couple of weeks, I had my first Section 8 tenant at $800 a month. And I said, boy, howdy, I like this. So one turned into two turned into three. I had no more money. So I figured out, well, gosh, seller financing might work.
Welcome to the Real Estate Pros Show, where we interview real estate investing professionals from coast to coast, as well as the service providers that serve the real estate investing industry. Our goal is simple: share what's working now to help you improve and scale your business to the next level and meet the pros that can help you get there. Real Estate Pros is powered by Investor Fuel, America's leader in helping real estate investors and professionals build the business you need to live the life you've always dreamed of. Let's start today's show. Property insurance for real estate investors doesn't have to be difficult, but it does need to be there to protect you when you need it. MyInvestorInsurance.com not only provides insurance at 15 to 30% cheaper than traditional agencies, it's built specifically for real estate investors like you. You can set up an account in about 2 minutes, get quotes on properties, turn on and turn off insurance for your fix and flip or rental properties in around 2 minutes without having to talk to anyone directly, all through our portal. There's no better way or faster way to make sure you've got the coverage you need to protect you, and no more lengthy policies either. Once you're set up, you're billed monthly and prorated by the day for however long your policy is active. It's powered by MSI, the third largest independent MGA, with 1.5 million customers and more than $1 billion in cumulative premiums written. Get set up today in about 2 minutes at myinvestorinsurance.com/fuel.
Welcome back to the Real Estate Pros podcast. I'm Kristen, and I'm here with Larry Myer, who is a real estate investor out of Kansas City. He's been in the game for 40 years, and he's transitioning into coaching. So we're going to get a lot of great coaching advice from him. So I'm excited for him to be here. Thanks for being here, Larry.
Oh, good morning, Kristen. Thank you for having me.
Incredible. So, you've had quite a career in the real estate world. What got you into it in the first place? I would love to kind of go back to the beginning.
Well, interesting story. So out of college, I was in Houston. I moved to Houston, Texas, worked there for a while, came back to Kansas City in the early 80s when interest rates were 20% and no gas, whatever. So my brother and I decided to buy a Mexican restaurant. I don't even like Mexican food, so that really had no recipe for success. But while I was there, I was talking to one of the customers. I was talking to one of the customers who came in with paint all over him every day. And I said, what are you doing? And are you a painter? And the inside of the restaurant can use a coat of paint. He says, I'm a real estate investor. I don't hire out for anybody. It's like, okay. So I started talking to him. He says, well, I buy houses in the central core of Kansas City, Missouri, and I rent them out through the Section 8 low-income housing program. So as much as I hated being in the restaurant business with my brother, teach me how to do it. I'm in. Teach me how to do it. He gave me the address. Here's where we're working. Sign up tomorrow. Come out tomorrow. You'll work on the house. I'll teach you what I can. And then when we're done, I'll show you how to get it rented. And I will also help you find your first house. I went through, we finished the house. He found another house for me down the street. I had no money because it was all sunk in the Mexican restaurant. So I had to take a $5,000 cash advance, all the money I had from a credit card, and I bought my first house. I painted it. And within a couple of weeks, I had my first Section 8 tenant at $800 a month. And I said, boy, howdy, I like this. So one turned into two. Two turned into three. I had no more money, so I figured out, well, gosh, seller financing might work. So I learned how to do seller financing. And then I grew, and other people called me and says, well, gosh, your houses are all nice. Can you take care of mine? I started managing for people until I got a cease and desist order from the Real Estate Commission because I didn't have a broker's license. So I got my broker's license, and fast forward to mid-90s, I owned and managed 2,500 units all over Kansas City. So I've since scaled down. I just turned 70, so my son took over the business. And I'm getting into the teaching world. because someone, that's how I got into it. And I've had a very nice living from it. So here we are.
Stop living on an island and join the #1 mastermind in America for professional real estate investors. Investor Fuel is a community of hundreds of the nation's top investors working together to build stronger businesses and better lives. In addition to the amazing community of real estate investors acting as a board of advisors for one another, Investor Fuel members have access to 100% funding on purchase and repairs for our members only, a health insurance program, and benefits and discounts that more than pays for the membership of most of our members, meaning it's actually costing you money to not be a member of Investor Fuel. If you're looking to scale your business and build a business that allows you to live the life of your dreams, please visit investorfuel.com today and book a call with our team.
That's incredible. I mean, 2,500 units, that's a lot of units. That's
That's a
incredible.
lot.
So talk about talk about, I mean, you sort of touched on it, but the importance of having that coach. I mean, that was so lucky that someone was able to or willing to give you so much of their time and really show you the ropes.
It really was. It was really nice. Free lunches for quite some time didn't slow the process down at all at the restaurant. But it was nice because back in those days, I'm showing my age, there was no internet. There was barely computers. There were no gurus. There were no mentors. There were no real estate clubs. So you're kind of out there. Just it was the Wild West, and you're out there learning on your own. And you tried it. If it worked, great. If it didn't, oh no, look what trouble I
Yeah,
got into, and let's call the attorney to get me out of it. So you don't know what you don't know.
right. Of course. I mean, and it's so important to have a coach because you're going to make these mistakes along the way anyway, and you can save
Correct.
a lot of money if you have someone helping you out. I mean, if you pay for coaching, you're probably going to save a lot of money in the long run.
In the long run, you will. I wish I had someone other than paying an attorney to tell me what I should have done. It would have been nicer to have someone along the way telling me. And then, later on, the real estate clubs were forming, and now you have the opportunity to network with folks that have been in it longer than I had, and on and on. So it really helps, and it's worth it. It's worth it.
Yeah. And I know that you have, to be able to manage so many units, you must have incredible systems in place and incredible teams in place. How did you go about setting all those systems up?
Well, excuse me, again, trial and error. During
Yeah.
that timeline, I was really heavy into renovation and management. And so I had a lot of contractors, a whole crew just to do tear outs for apartment buildings, a crew, the electricians crews, the plumbing crews. So they were all, and it's just keeping, again, in those days, you didn't have many, um, CRM programs or whatnot. So it's just, on a big chief tablet and a crayon. And, you're just, it's just moving chess pieces around all day long and keeping track of rentals. And I had some inside help, bookkeepers and whatnot, and other leasing agents, but it was a
Mhm.
lot of, I mean, I worked nonstop every day.
Yeah. What are some of your best tips for hiring the right people? I'm sure that that's probably the hardest part of the job, you know, throughout your whole career. What are your tips for making sure you have people that really, mesh with the systems you have in place and mesh with the values you have?
Right. Well, so as far as contractors, I mean, now I've been out there so long. I mean, there's a whole host of guys that I've either worked with or there's a stable. They're all independent contractors, so I call them when I need them. But in the beginning, I found out that if I go to Home Depot, I needed a painter. I would go to Home Depot and I would just hang around in the paint aisle and I'd look for a guy that had paint all over him, but not a lot. And he was buying multiple 5-gallon buckets of paint. And I'd walk up to him and says, "Well, hi, are you for hire?" And I'd introduce who I am and what I do, and I would get a card, and now I got myself a painter. And the same thing with electricians. You hang out in the electrical aisle and guys that's buying, 300 feet of wire and, and all that. And, sometimes I'd sit there all day, but
if you're looking for consistent, high-quality leads, look no further than Investor Machine. Investor Machine isn't just another agency, it's the most sophisticated, data-driven lead generation company on the planet for real estate investors, and serves the role of being not just a lead generator for your business, but a marketing partner that is helping you achieve your goals along the way. Go to investormachine.com to learn more and schedule a call with our team today.
that's how you find guys that work in the area that somebody was already hiring them. And then I would check out their references, and you give them a try. Some guys work. Some guys is just, well, here, this didn't work out. Let me pay you what I owe you. Get off my property. Don't ever call me again. So, it's just, a lot of it's just trial and error.
Yeah, absolutely. And, getting rid of the wrong people quickly, I'm sure.
There's good people and then there's bad people. And then as we're working on projects, they learn the way I like to do things, and I like things done right. Do it once, don't come back, measure twice, cut once, that type of thing. So it's a learning process. And now I've got guys that have been with me. My lead carpenter is 81 years old. And he's been with
Mm.
me for probably 20 years. And most of the guys I have a guy that's putting in a furnace in another house we're doing today. He's been with me for 12 years. So, as you find the guys, you use them. Fast pay makes fast friends. Pay them as soon as the job is done, and make sure they get the materials they need and they can finish the job. And you'd be surprised, when you call them and you need them, they show up.
Yeah. Yeah, amazing. And then, I mean, that must be so fun for you to kind of pass down your legacy to your son as well. And now he's taking over.
Yeah, I started him out, actually, he started out, he was a professional musician and toured all over the country.
Okay.
And for various reasons that, that's never a long-term plan. So he came back and he got his real estate license, and I started him out working on one of the construction crews on a house, and he did that for over a year. And then, so, he kind of, wangled into the business as time went on. And, so now he knows, he's still learning, but, and when I was dealing with a lot of investors, I'd get him in on the conversation so he'd learn how to, what is an investor looking for to buy a house, and how do we do this? How do we do that? So yeah, he's still learning. He's still, early 30s, but he's still learning. But he's doing, he's doing good work, and it's to the point where I can kind of, start out and, on a side business and step in when I'm needed.
Yeah, absolutely. So, you've been in the game for 40 years. You've seen so many ups and downs with the market. I would love for you to talk just about the general opportunity of real estate and what you see the market kind of like where you're seeing it headed now. Because I know there's a lot of people who are confused or have little caution entering the market. I would love for you to talk about that from the perspective of having, gone through so many upturns, downturns.
Sure. Yeah, I think the main thing is you have to be nimble, and just because you started out, I want to wholesale houses. That's all I want to do. Well, good for you. You and 10,000 other people are trying to do the same thing. So, you have to be nimble and you have to keep aware of what's going on for a while. I had an opportunity pop up with the crash in, what was it, '09, 2010. And I was the broker of record for Fannie Mae for all of their foreclosures. And all I would do is do
Sure.
lockouts and all that. So I stopped my one business, and that picked up on another one, and that kept me busy for almost 2 years. Um, so you have to be nimble to opportunities. Maybe now is not, and I found it's harder to sell houses now, but there's a huge market for rentals. So maybe we stop. We had talked to my son. Maybe we stop, doing the fix and flips, and we're doing the fix and rents. and hold them for a while, and
Mhm.
then, work with the tenant that's in there to buy the house. There's lots of ways they can do that. So you got to be nimble, but I think now it's turned into a more of a buyer's market, at least here in Kansas City, in the markets I'm in.
If you're a new or newer real estate investor looking to launch or grow your real estate investing business, please check out Investor Fuel Club. It's a coaching community, but unlike anything you've ever seen before. And you can actually partner with members of our mastermind from coast to coast on deals right in your market. There's no better opportunity to build a consistent business than to literally partner with pros to help you avoid costly mistakes, avoid the need for capital to do deals, and help you eliminate your fears as you're starting your business. Learn more about Investor Fuel Club at investorfuel.com/club.
So, again, that's like I said, we switched to fix and flip to fix and rent. So you just have to be nimble
Okay.
and keep your eye on what you're doing. And if you're, locally, you know, start going to meetings and, read the paper, watch the news. That's all sorts of ways to keep caught up.
Yeah, I think that's good advice. There's so many different strategies within the investing space. And I think people like to use blanket terms like it's a bad time to enter the market. But I mean, to your point, you just kind of adapt to it.
You have to be nimble. For a while, all we were dealing with was out-of-state investors. Well, now there's all sorts of national clubs and these guys belong to, and they don't need me anymore, so that's fine. So yeah, you have to be nimble, and you have to, you've got to be a chameleon, and you got to be able to change colors and to kind of stay with it if you want to stay in this business very long.
Absolutely. I think it's really good advice. I mean, there's so many different things to consider. I think a lot of people with investing, they don't necessarily think about the core reason or what they want out of it. It's kind of just like, oh, I want money, but there's so many different strategies that you can implement. It's really important to, go deeper and figure out what you're looking to gain from it, what kind of success you want from it, and to be really thoughtful about how you move through it.
Right, and there was a guy that well, all I want to do is foreclosures. I want to be in the foreclosure business, and so good luck. That's a little more, that's a little more difficult. Or I want to be a wholesaler, like I said, you and 10,000 other people. That's where everybody wants to start out with because everybody makes it sound so easy. I've never been able to do it. It's never not been one of
Yeah.
my things. So you just there are 1,000 ways to make money in real estate. Well, we could be here all day with going on about that, but yeah, find your niche that nobody else wants to do and be better at it than anybody else.
Yeah, absolutely. When you were starting out, did it take you a while after buying that restaurant? Did it take you a while to kind of figure out what your niche was?
Well, I knew that I worked in the urban core of Kansas City, Missouri. And because again, that's all I could afford. I had no money, and houses at the time, houses down there, you could buy houses all day long for a couple $1,000s. So, and there was no shortage of empty houses or people that didn't want to be down there anymore. And I had to get used to going into neighborhoods that nobody else wanted to be into. And yes, I've been shot at. Yes, I've been attacked. You name it. For the first couple of years, I had to pay a guy to just drive in the car with me so I could, wouldn't get shot. So, it's looking back on it, well, that was pretty stupid. But at the time, it's like, well, this is my world. I can't afford anything else. So, and you learn how to adapt. You learn how to keep your head on a swivel. You learn, last 10 years, I've had 15 years, I've had nothing. Nobody even gives me the time of day down there anymore. So, after a while, you know what you're doing, and it's not a big deal. But yeah, everything is a learning curve. So you um, just have to, keep your ears open and your head on a swivel.
Yeah, absolutely. Wow, I mean, that's scary that you had to do all that.
Again, looking back, it's like, well, that's really pretty stupid. But at the
Yeah.
time, it's like, well. cost of doing business,
Yeah.
whatever. So yeah.
Yeah. Of course, everybody has their mistakes they make or things go wrong. What's your mindset around that? How do you keep pushing forward? I think that it's easy to give up in this business.
Well, it is very easy to give up on this business, and it just depends on if this is what you want to do and you want to be in the real estate business, then you're gonna. I don't care who you are, you're gonna make a wrong decision. You're gonna buy the wrong house. You're gonna hire the wrong contractor. You're gonna sell it for the wrong price. Again, we could be here all days with me telling you all my woulda, coulda, shouldas, and all the stupid things. For a while I thought I could fix anything, and I bought an apartment building where if you're on the first floor, you could put a bowling ball down at the front of the building and it would roll really fast down to the back. That's how settled it was. And now it's just a vacant lot, and I lost a lot of money. So but this is what I do, and and at the end of the day, you tally up your successes and you tally up your failures, and hopefully your successes are more than your failures, and you learn from them. You learn that I can't fix everything, and you learn that there's some houses that just not worth buying, that they need to be torn down, or they need to go, that's in a bad neighborhood, and I don't want to be in there. I don't want my guys in there. I don't want me in there, or my son, especially. So you learn.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, just because it's available doesn't mean it's a good opportunity or something you should explore.
There you go.
Well, I think this has been wonderful. I think you've given a lot of great advice on, the perspective of the market and just the importance of coaching. I would love for you to kind of, as we wrap this up, it might be hard to boil it down to one, but what would be a piece of advice that you wish you learned earlier in your career that you can share with everybody?
Oh my goodness. Uh, well, the main thing is, and it's a tried and true, don't do business with family or friends. That's
Oh, yeah.
everyone tells you, well, if you need money, sure, go to your friend. Don't do that. Don't do that, because even though if you tell them, well, this is still an investment, things can go bad. And if you do 20 of them, the one time you borrow from your mother-in-law, that's the one that's going to go bad. And it kind of happens.
Yeah.
So so, church and state, keep everything distant, separate, keep good records. And, tomorrow's always another day. And um, just keep, baseball term, just keep sawing wood.
Yeah. I think that's really good advice. I think, yeah, there's that fine line there because people starting out, they don't know where to fundraise. But I agree. It's a lot of pressure to take on the money of your family and friends.
Yep. Yep. Needless pressure.
Yeah, exactly. Just adding one more thing onto everything. Well, thank you so much for doing this. Please tell everybody where to find you and how to work with you.
Kristen, my name is Larry Myer, Myer. You can find me at Larry at realestate-mentor.com.
Incredible. Awesome. Well, everybody, I really encourage you to check Larry out and, work with him. I think he has a lot to share and a lot to offer. So thanks so much for being here, Larry.
Thank you so much, Kristen.
And thank you everyone for listening. Hope you learned a lot, got some inspiration for your own business, and maybe inspired you to get some coaching and get some help. So thank you so much for listening, and we'll see you back next time. Bye.
Thanks for joining us for today's Real Estate Pros Show. You can learn more about the amazing benefits of the Investor Fuel Mastermind community, including surrounding yourself with hundreds of other rock stars, 100% financing for your deals, and members-only discounts from vendors you're likely already using that, as a member of Investor Fuel, will save you more than the cost of your membership. Visit investorfuel.com to learn more. If you're interested in joining us as a guest of this show, please visit investorfuel.com/pros to apply. You can also check the show notes for access to free resources, how to get access to world-class lead generation, and much more. Don't forget to subscribe so you never miss another episode. Have a great day. We'll see you on the next show.